Clicker. All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm really excited to be here today, and I'm excited to be a part of the Talent Warrior program that we had last year, and then the winners from this year. I was a judge, which was really a lot of fun. I've been working with Glassdoor in a previous role, and so really excited to kind of meet people that I've only known either via email or webinars or phone or social media. So very cool day today. And Lars, you told me just to click down, but am I the only one that can't figure this one out today? Whoop, oh, hello. Okay, so I started recruiting in 1999. In 2003, I went and started working for Geico. I was there from 2003 until June of this year. From 2008 until June, I worked in social recruiting, employment branding, and also recruiter training. I was the voice of Geico Careers. And while I was there, I worked on many videos, I think plus or minus 20. And by the end of this year, with the videos that we have planned for CEB, I'll be around probably 27, 28 videos that I've created since 2008. So as I mentioned, left Geico in June after 11 years to do something new. And I was really excited to leave kind of. At Geico, we were early adopters of a lot of social technology, of the tools. We built out our social media presence. I was leaving kind of this mature careers brand and going someplace where CEB had just scratched the surface. So being able to come in and do it all over again has been very exciting. And I've been there. My 90-day review is next week. But these two sources are kind of my well of inspiration for sharing some research with you that I think will be rather eye-opening. It's really changed the way I've approached employer branding since starting at CEB. And also pulling some real-life examples from not just Geico and CEB, but some other great videos that I was able to find. And then sharing some of those real-life lessons. I think Lars mentioned this really early in the morning, that those of us that started in employer branding early were kind of figured it out on our own. There was no playbook, there was no guidebook for us. So sharing some of those things I've learned over the past 6 years. So impact. In November of 2013 through the beginning of 2014, CEB conducted a survey called the Employment Branding Effectiveness Survey. We had over 110 member organizations participate, and 5,000 people participated in this survey. And what we found is that the communications that we are all pushing out from an organizational standpoint are 1/5 as effective as all other sources of information that are influencing job seekers. Can anyone tell me, what are those other resources that are influencing job seekers? Anybody, raise your hand. What's one? Jenny, Glassdoor, yes. Glassdoor is one of those influencers of job seekers. The press, absolutely, the news, what is being said about your organization out in the news. Anyone else? Peers. Former employees, absolutely. Social media? Social media, do you think an influencer? Yeah. So when we talk about organizational communication and employment branding, a big piece of the study, that one of the findings was that you have to move away from this idea of mass appealing. You know, everybody says, we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring, hashtag jobs, hashtag hiring. If we're all saying the same message, are we going to end up kind of diluting one another's messages? How do we stand out? If our organizational communication are only 1/5 as effective as everything else out there, how can we differentiate our messaging so that we can influence our job seekers more? And social media is a big piece and a big player in all of this, particularly when we look at millennials. How many of you, your organizations, are specifically targeting millennials? And I'm defining millennials, anyone born 1980 to 2000, so 14 to 34-year-olds. Yeah. So we're pushing out information. It's not all that effective. Millennials are using social media. And, oops, millennials only believing 29% of the information that they're reading online. So now we're ineffective. They're not trusting it. We've got all of these data points that are kind of stacked against us. What do we in employment branding need to do in order to bring in our job seekers? And so from the CEB research, we found that messages that are just authentic might not be enough. So you have to actually take more of a consultative approach when it comes to crafting your message, whether it's a blog post or your career site, or it's a tweet, or it's communication out to your recruiting teams. How can we all take a more consultative approach in the messaging? And we found that companies that are taking a more consultative approach are influencing job seekers, and they're influencing the quality of applicant coming into their organization by almost 20%. Those organizations that are purely branding and using an authentic message, their applicant quality is impacted by less than 10% improvement. So what is a consultative message? Does anybody want to take a gander at that question? What is a consultative message when it comes to employment branding? Does anybody? Educating them. In 2 words, trusted guidance. How can we help job seekers make a more informed decision? How can we guide them? How can we help them make better decisions about their careers? We can do that through consultative messaging. And there are 3 messages that are more impactful than just being authentic. The first one is when you can create a message that's competitively positioned. So how can I clearly differentiate myself from my competitors within my industry? Or how do I associate with the competitors? If I'm a small organization and I'm competing with the Googles and the Facebooks and Twitters for tech talent, well, how can I possibly align myself and my messaging so that people start to say, oh, you're like them? How are you like them? So you can be competitively positioned to differentiate or associate. The next message is one that's emotionally resonant. And so when you're able to help a job seeker see how their own personal roles and their personal values fit into those values and that mission of your organization, that message, that emotional connection that they have is going to be more impactful and more influential than if you were just putting out, this is who we are, here's this authentic message. And the third most is one that really drives reflection to fit. So there's been a lot of talk today about culture and how and whether or not somebody's going to fit into our culture. Well, if you're not conveying messages that really drive that reflection of fit, whether or not I fit within your organization, do I fit in this role? Do I fit in the greater purpose and the mission of what you're doing? Do I fit within this industry? So if you can start crafting your message to really drive reflection of fit, that will have a more likely chance of impacting the quality of your applicants than just being transparent or authentic.
Hi, I'm not Blake Mykowski, founder and chief shoe giver of Tom's. I'm here to tell you about our fabulous internship program and why you should come an intern at Tom's HQ in Los Angeles. Tom's interns have the opportunity to add real value to the company, to have a voice and be heard, to have an opinion that matters.
Time to drop a few pounds, buddy.
That's his opinion. You're going to learn about all facets of our company, from the giving and supply chain departments to the computers team.
It's called IT?
Yes, IT. We're confident that by the time you finish the 10-week course, you'll be fully equipped to start your own socially conscious business. You won't just be getting coffee from people either. Thanks. You'll be sinking your teeth into a number of projects that can have a real-world impact. All of the interns will be working together as a tribe on one group project. You'll also be working in various departments on individual assignments specifically tailored for your interests. You'll be assigned a mentor, participate in networking events, and meet with senior level executives.
Hey, this is an executive meeting.
Exactly. Let's be clear about one thing. We're in the business of changing lives.
Al,
And some of the work you do here will be the most impactful work you ever do. Just ask these people. Or better yet, ask these people. So if you're passionate about changing the lives of people through business.
Whoops. Okay. Anywho. So the reason I chose the Tom's video, which of those 3 consultative messages is the Tom's video clearly rolling up to? emotionally resonant, right? So they're taking the interns that are going to apply to their organization and showing them how their role is going to roll up to their greater mission. So when you think about maybe the videos that you're currently producing or thinking about or that you have produced, can you look back and say, did we help people make that connection, that emotional connection to overall what we're trying to accomplish here? So I thought that was a really great example of using that sort of consultative message. Let's see. My slides are out of order because there's actually supposed to be another video in here that is not. Sorry. Technical difficulties here for a second because there is a video that is missing from this. Yeah. Hold on. Is it here? Oh, okay, it is. Okay, good.
The growth potential at Geico right now it just seems tremendous.
I meet fun people. This is the first job I can actually say that I've never been bored.
I was looking for something more stable. It was really a family environment.
Your career can go as far as you want it to. Pick your own path.
I knew very little about cars before I became an adjuster. I pretty much learned everything through Geico's training.
The adjuster is the face of the insurance company.
A customer gets into an accident or has a loss with their vehicle. We're the people that they come to see to get the repairs made.
Currently right now I work in the Auto Repair Express location or an ARX.
Basically everything is reduced to a one-stop shop for the customers.
I handle their rental updates. I handle payments to the shop. I take care of everything.
It is not a desk position.
My work environment is very different every day.
The workflow doesn't stop, whether it's super.
So, sorry, okay, there we go. So we'll leave it on there. So the Geico video is really driving for reflection for fit. If you're not somebody who wants to interact with customers, if you're not going to be willing to crawl underneath a car or work out in the snow and out in the elements, that's not the role for you. That was the last video that I worked on while I was at Geico and representing Geico Careers. While I was there, our employer brand channel was the 4th most trafficked on YouTube. And we had garnered, of our 40 videos that we had posted online, almost 620,000 video views over the course of that channel. So video is a really powerful way to take your messaging and make it more accessible to your talent segments, out to your market. It's also a great and portable content. So you can not just create the video for uploading it to YouTube or Vimeo or whichever channel you choose. You can use it to brand for influence. You can encourage your employees to share it. If I were still at Geico and we had that auto damage adjuster video, I would want all of my adjusters sharing that. Is there a way, what are the ways that they can take that message? Because we found through the CEB research that it's not just the message, it's the messenger. So if I'm just pushing out content from our organizational communication channels, I'm not going to be as effective as my teams would be if they were pushing that message out for us. So how can we really empower our employees to share that content, to share that message? And I think video is a really great way to do that because there's a reason why YouTube is the 3rd most trafficked site in the world. And your YouTube statistics will feed into your Google search. And so there's a lot of ripple effect that you can get from creating messages that have that are really purposeful within your recruiting strategy. I was really surprised. I was trying to look for really good examples of recruitment videos. And one, I was surprised at how many really bad recruiting videos are out there. And also, how many people are missing an opportunity to link back to their career site. So we've got YouTube videos that have been beautifully produced or are more homegrown approach, but they're not linking back to their career site. And so if you can start to create paths from your videos back to job descriptions, back to blog posts, back to your career site so that somebody can take an action, I would say that's kind of a quick win. Promoting across all channels, one of the social campaigns that we would do frequently at Geico is that we would take these videos and then sponsor them on Facebook. So I would create recruitment campaigns that were very targeted, and then we would run based on hiring need and within the hiring cycle. And our video campaigns were more shared, more viewed than something that was more static. So that's another really great way to repurpose your video content. When I was looking for examples to share, there's a fantastic recruiting video that a restaurant has produced. And I really wanted to include it and embed it into the slide deck today, but they had their ads turned on. And so every time I went to watch this video, there's a 30-second commercial laying over top of that. So in terms of best practice, if you've got a YouTube channel, I would go back and look at your channel and the way that it's set up. Do you have ads turned on? Probably turn them off. Just from a candidate experience, it was rather frustrating to have to turn and skip the ads every time. And so some really, I think, really great lessons have come from thinking about the vision of the video and communicating that to people. I often will kind of get what I would think is like a harebrained idea in the middle of the night or when I'm driving or just doing something that seems kind of mindless. I'm like, oh, that would be a really great video idea. And I bounce it off of people. I'll bounce it off of stakeholders or line partners, somebody that's actually doing the job, as well as our HR business team, our business leaders, and our recruiters, and say, we know that we need to do 7 videos this year. This is what I'm thinking for the sales community. This is the concept that I'm thinking of for our Veterans Affinity group. Can you please let me know, like, am I crazy? And if they come back and say, yes, you're crazy, then I know I need to go in a different direction. But if they say, no, I can really picture that, like, let's take that idea and run with it, sharing that vision has been a great way just to get kind of in the pre-planning stage to know, is this how I want to go? The last thing you want to do is like produce a video and then come back to your stakeholders and like, that doesn't make any sense, that doesn't help us achieve our goal, right? So kind of doing that at the front end. Choose your talent wisely. So at CEB, we will create 7 videos, hopefully between now and the end of the year. I'm currently working on 3 that are someplace in production and 1 that's just at concept right now. And one of our videos, we had a gentleman, and he was a high performer, really smart, really great representative of our brand. But when we put the camera in front of him, something just turned off. And that's happened at Geico as well, where we have recommendations of this person would be fantastic. They're really high performers. They've been here a really long time. And then it's like you put that camera in front of them, and they just crumple. So having those conversations, I often do pre-calls with the talent to, have you ever been photographed professionally before? Have you ever been in front of a camera before? Do you think that you'd feel comfortable doing this? I'll go to LinkedIn and look to see, I'll look at their picture. We'll have them send us a headshot. And just to, there's a reason actors and actresses are on TV, right? Because they're comfortable in front of the camera. And I think having your talent comfortable is really key as well. Collaborate always. I'm up here talking about video, but I have never held the camera. I like time-lapse photography, but I have absolutely zero idea of how that's actually done. So working with really strong teams has been, I've been very fortunate to have 2 companies that have both had in-house production teams that I've worked with. And it's a collaborative effort. It's not me doing any editing. I might provide music suggestions. I'll provide the vision and the art direction. I'll ask for talent suggestions. I coach the talent. But other than that, I mean, there's so many other people that I'm working with in order to get a 2 or 3 or 4 minute video produced. And listening to feedback. Having our recruiters involved and members of talent acquisition have been really helpful because ultimately, what should that video do? It supports their efforts. Yes, it's branding the organization, it's creating these messages, but it's a tool for them to add to their recruiter toolbox. So getting feedback from the recruiters when they say, that's really great, but maybe we could put some more information in there or a visual about career pathing and really drive that message home a little bit more. Or I recently had a recruiter come back, and at the end of a video, we just had it say, learn more at. And she's like, no, I think we want them to apply. So just kind of getting that sort of feedback. And do I take 100% of everyone's feedback? No, but I listen to 100% of everyone's feedback. And then have fun. I mean, videos are, in that Geico video, when we're out in the snow, I was right behind the camera, and we had a blast that day. We had customers that came into the auto repair shop, and we had a gentleman who, he had been a Geico customer for over 30 years. His name is Mr. Brown, and he was hysterical. And I just sat down with him and talked, and it was really great to get the customer perspective and how could we pipe that into the video as well. So really a lot of opportunity to have fun, collaborate. And I have one last video that is unlike anything I've ever worked on. Everybody's got different budgets, different resources, different personalities and cultures, and that is the last video I thought was kind of fun, so I wanted to end on that. Hopefully you'll agree, and hopefully I can get to it. There we go. I have no idea. This is a tech company. I mean, I have no idea. This gives me an insight into their culture. Like, would this be for everyone? I don't know. It wouldn't be for me, but we want to do that when we're providing consultative messages and we're influencing. We want to be able to persuade the best and dissuade the rest. So hopefully that is persuading the best talent for them. And that is it. So thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
I feel like after that last video, I should dance my way up here, but I won't. So don't get any ideas, people. So video, it's a creative outlet for branding. These are some good examples of video done right. And we learn from great examples of things done right. And we also learn from our failures. So what was the worst employer branding video you've been associated with?
So several years ago, we created an IT video. So Geico, known in the auto insurance industry, second largest auto insurance company, we were trying to position the company as a tech company as well in the DC area. There are over 1,000 people or so that work in IT at Geico, and so we were trying to kind of shine the light on that. And we created a video, and it had been up for 4 or 5 months or so when we get a call from it was either vice president of IT or the CIO that said, you need to take that down right now. That is not IT at Geico. So the lesson there was we did not have the right stakeholders involved in those initial conversations. We produced this. We thought we had the right people. Clearly we didn't. And to get that call from that top upper echelon of IT to say, take it down now, was that was an interesting lesson. Yeah.
All right, questions. We have one in the front. We have a mic coming. Yes. A mic being jogged down.
Hi. So you talked about some of your best practices with videos, and you just talked about a worst practice. Can you elaborate on some of the other insights you've learned throughout your experience working on producing videos and content for HR?
So video specific, or are you open to all content?
I'm open to all content, but I'm more so interested in video specific.
Yeah, so other lessons learned. I would say that video is a really great opportunity to get a lot of people involved, and so it helps to connect that internal with your external. So internally, how can we get everybody excited about it? And then externally, how do we kind of push that out? So I would say anytime that you can really get people excited internally is going to be something that you absolutely, like, let's get everybody on board. Other lessons when it comes to video. So one of the things that we started doing towards the end of my career at Geico was doing monthly videos. So moving away from these kind of job categories, and because we already had a very mature library of videos, and we did a monthly Geico Careers Now. And it was, here are all of the great things that the organization's doing. And we would have themes. So like May was Get Fit at Geico. We had people that were doing Zumba. And May is a really great time for runs and walks. And we had a lot of associates that were participating in that. So we took a step away from job families and said, like, here, this is who we are as a company. That was a lot of fun. Creating our hashtags. So Stacy mentioned hashtags. Other people have mentioned company hashtags. And we started kind of embossing them, so that the hashtag was consistent on top of the video. So that was kind of connecting all of the different social properties as well. So that was something that was kind of fun. And then you can, One of the things I would like to see us move in a direction is to have captioning on to make sure that our content is accessible to individuals with disabilities. And so that is definitely something that I have not yet implemented, but is certainly something that I'm looking to do while at CEB.
Cool. Another question back over here?
Hi, this is Cindy at Informatica.
Hi.
What is your personal opinion about using videos or keeping videos that feature employees that have left the company? And if you agree with my opinion, which is it's okay if they're left on good standing, how do you persuade other people that that's a good practice?
Sure. So there's a reason why in anything that I've produced, whether it's a testimonial or a video, we don't include last names. So then that way, like, you can't go and look up on LinkedIn to see whether or not Joe Smith is still at X number, ABC company. So one, I would say just use first names. And then externally, people aren't going to know. So if the message is good, so my personal opinion is if they've left, that's not reason enough to go reproduce an entire video. Now, if it's a video where it's a talking head video of just that person and they've left, it's really easy just to go and take it down. But if it's a longer video where you've got 6 or 7 people sharing their stories, I would say that video probably still has a shelf life and you could still use it.
Well, wouldn't you agree that that's part of, if you have alumni, if they left on good standing for good reason, that they add value just because they did work there?
Absolutely.
Their opinion has changed.
Absolutely. Now, if there was an egregious act that occurred, yeah, that's a completely different story. And then as far as persuading people to be okay with that, so that's definitely a conversation that I've had. Video, that's kind of a calculated risk that you take going into it. So during the pre-planning and gathering the talent and getting names, there's a certain vetting process that we go through to see or determine whether or not this person may be an attrition risk. If they are flagged as a possible attrition risk, then we're not going to move forward with that person, even though their manager may have recommended he or she for the video.
Okay. All right, I think we are up on time. So thanks very much, Shannon.
Okay, thank you.